What's astonished me about endometriosis is how many women have it. It was something that felt much more rare. And I mean, it's definitely always been there. As soon as you start reading any of the books like Unwell Women about the history of women's health, you realize that endometriosis has been one of the main conditions that have really foxed the medical world, and women have just gone through absolute hell trying to get diagnosis and being taken seriously. But the bit that's astonished me about it being in clinical practice is how many people have a diagnosis of endometriosis.
And I think one of the heartbreaking things is that it takes 8 to 10 years on average. So there's a lot of women out there that it takes a lot longer to have endometriosis diagnosed, which I think is shocking. And we will talk a little bit more about why that is the case. Endometriosis, it is diagnosed via laparoscopy, pelvic exam or ultrasounds. It is difficult to diagnose. This is why it does take so long. And there are so many similarities with other conditions, particularly the digestive, IBS and IBD, which is inflammatory bowel disease. And I think that's a really interesting thing. This is where the new research is coming from. It's showing this connection between endometriosis and the digestive system. And this goes hand in hand with how we work, which is the triangle of hormonal health, which we'll go into more detail in later. But how hormones and bowels just work together. The amount of women who come in with hormone issues, who've got bowel problems, who've got hormone issues, they just work together. And the way that the medical model looks at digestion or hormones is they keep them so separate. And this is why our work is so needed, because you will see, as students of our work, you will see more and more women coming in with these dual issues. And this is where we can absolutely fill that gap. And what I think is important is to note that endometriosis is not a problem with the uterus. It's an inflammatory condition. It's a condition of the immune system, but it affects the uterus. It affects the sex organs. And it is driven by estrogen and driven by inflammation.